press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back to your social science class. We are going to continue the chapter Judicial System. Little to brush up what we studied in the previous class. We studied the Supreme Court and the qualifications to become the Supreme Court judge. So Supreme Court came into existence with the Act of Parliament on 28th of January 1950 at New Delhi. That's what we discussed, and there are 31 judges at present, and including the Chief Justice. The qualifications of a Supreme Court judge, basic one is first must be a citizen of India. Then he must have served as High Court for 5 years and Advocate of High Court for at least 10 years and should be a distinguished person in the President's opinion. Alright, after that we discussed about retirement and resignation. Retirement age is 65 years and they can resign whenever they would like to, but after they resign or after they retire, they will not be able to practice anywhere in any of the courts. Then we went on to study the functions and powers of the Supreme Court. The original powers, like if there is any trouble or dispute between the Union and the states or states themselves, the Supreme Court has rights to interfere and intervene and look on these cases that are coming. Then appellate powers is what we studied. Okay, citizens can file cases against the lower courts and seek a proper judgment at the Supreme Court. So advisory powers is the President seeks advice from the jury of members on the Supreme Court, and then opinions on matters of public issues and other related issues which need assistance. So the President may advise them. The Supreme Court, President may take advice and the Supreme Court may advise them. So then is Supreme Court acts as a court of records where all records are maintained with them. They act as a chief advisory, like an advisory board, isn't it? Now when there is something to be done, or if there is now for the virus itself, if there is a vaccine to be found, or if there is anything that has to be taken into consideration, there is an advisory board that is put. Like learned people of different fields who have come together, who know and who have been experimenting, who have been researching on a certain kind of topic, are brought together so that their ideas are shared and they come into a common conclusion and for a common goal. So that's how they go forward, and that's how they take on things lightly and then function it properly. Alright, then we studied the high courts. High court is for every state, sometimes 2 states share one high court. Then judges also vary from state to state. We studied the qualifications as well. So I very well know you have written down the table and made your notes. See students, you must do your homework some way or the other because it's going to help you in the coming future. The coming future is unpredictable in this year, so it's better you get ready on yourself than wait for the information from anywhere, from your teachers, from your school, or from anywhere. You get ready for yourself. So this is how, I'm pretty sure you have done it. Qualifications of the High Court judge, that's what we studied. He must also be a citizen of India. He must have served as a judiciary officer in the judicial office or an advocate of High Court for 10 years. Then he also must be a good person in the opinion of the President. Retirement is 62 years. Then if they are found guilty while discharging their duties with the majority of both the houses and in the opinion of the President, they can be removed from office. So we went on to study the functions of the High Court as well, what kind of a function it does. So basically for civil and criminal cases that are there, and naval and marital and contempt of court cases as well. So I'm just brushing up, that's why I'm going a little faster so that you can just recall what we did. I'm not going to tell you all the points, highlighting only what is important. Then it can take its appeals from the cases of the subordinate courts, that's the lower courts than the high court. So we have the table: Supreme Court, the State High Court, the District High Courts, that are divided into Sessions Court and Chief Judicial Magistrate for civil and for criminal cases likewise. Then we went on to study the subordinate courts, which are classified into civil and criminal courts. So civil court, every district has a civil court. Criminal is also called as a Sessions Court, and the district judge is the chief judge for both. So the governor of the state appoints the district judge, and in consultation with all the other judges of the High Court. So period of he must have served as an advocate in any of the court in the state for a period of 7 years. Alright, now we had to move on and know certain things. I told you we are going to discuss little things about the 4 divisions under subordinate courts under the district court, and then we will move on to what is the criminal court and other related, or revenue courts for that matter. Criminal courts we have discussed. So the British when they were there, they established 3 high courts in for the first time, that's in Calcutta, Bombay and Madras in 1862. So there are 21 high courts in India at present. So for Punjab and Haryana, they share 1 high court, and Guwahati in Assam for Assam, and Manipur, Meghalaya, Tripura, Nagaland, Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, there is 1 high court for all these. So the Mysore High Court was established in 1884, and then later it was renamed as Karnataka High Court in 1973. Now 2 benches of high courts, 2 different like branches we say. So benches of high court are established at Dharwad and Kalaburgi. So this is a little information for you that's there in your text, and we will move on to understanding the subordinate courts under the district courts first, and then we will move on to what is called as the revenue courts, and then we will see what's a people's court, Lok Adalat, and then we can wind it up. So I told you court of subordinate judges. Now here district judge is the main person there. What is he doing in representation of all the high courts in the district? So basically they handle civil cases, and they have head of all the other sub courts or the subordinate courts. So court of subordinate judges. These judges are of all the other lower courts that are there. Then court of additional subordinate judges. These are, see, there is a subordinate, like an assistant class leader, okay, or assistant school pupil leader. Don't we have that? A main person and then an assistant. Here additional subordinate judges they are also in connection with the district courts, okay, but they take more into administrative matters. So district judge can give any of his duties to, or in judicial matters, any one to these additional court judges. So court of munsifs this is one of the lowest order of the court. They handle civil matters in and around the district. So that is also controlled by the district courts and the other respective district courts that are there, or other respective courts that are there in the district. Court of additional munsifs, this is also again a lowest order of the courts. They handle again civil matters in the district, but they are under the judicial collector. There is a post judicial collector, and under him is what they function. Alright, a little bit of the criminal code came into existence on the 1st of April 1974, and then it's also known as the district magistrate courts. So they also function under the High Court. So don't get confused, Supreme Court is the highest, then the High Court, the district courts and the subordinates or the lower local courts that are there. So we discussed about the Chief Magistrate Court, the first grade magistrate court, what kind of punishment they can give, and punishment up to 3 years and fine of 5,000, or they can put both. Now second grade magistrate court, 2 years of punishment or 1000 rupees or both. Third grade magistrate, this has only power to impose 1 month of imprisonment and 50 rupees of fine, not more than that. The second class and the third class magisterial courts, they can admit appeals to against judgments of any other courts. Now, we will move into the revenue courts today and understand what is more important here. Now, there is a revenue court in every district. So, what do they take up? What kind of cases do they take up? Cases related to land tax, okay, land records, and anything disputes in the land or difficult, if there is, sometimes our boundaries are not set right, something like that. So, things like that are dealt in the revenue courts. Now, the revenue courts also have different categories in between it. First one is the Tahsildar court. Now, Tahsildar court is the lowest court among the revenue court, and the Tahsildar its judge. Tahsildar is its judge. So, the revenue court is among the lowest court, the Tahsildar court is among the lowest in the revenue court, and the Tahsildar is the judge. Now, this is also called as a Taluk magistrate court. The Tahsildar court is also called as the Taluk magistrate court. Next is the district subdivisional officers court. Now, here the assistant commissioner is the judge of this district subdivisional officers court. Now, this court that is there, subdivisional officers court, what kind of appeals do they take? They take appeals which have been against the decisions or judgments of the Tahsildar courts. So, what is happening in the Tahsildar court, if anything is wrong, then the officers court takes it, okay, district subdivisional officers court. Next is district revenue court or district magistrate court. This is there in every district, and they take up any appeals which are done by the Tahsildar court or district subdivisional officers court, okay. The deputy commissioner is the judge. Deputy commissioner is the judge. Now, commissioner's court, this takes appeals against judgments in the district magistrate courts. Any district magistrate court that has happened, they take appeals from there. So, the divisional officer is the judge. Then there is a revenue board, just like an advisory board, there is a revenue board. This is the highest court that deals with all kind of revenue cases that are there. Now, it can take appeals against the judgments of any of the lower courts or any of the lower revenue courts that are there. The revenue secretary is the head, and the court functions under the supervision or on terms of the high court. Okay, now we will just figure it out, we will write it a little and then understand how you can make up for it. Okay, so you write revenue courts. Okay, revenue courts. Now, beside this, write about the revenue board. Okay, then write details about it. What kind of details can you write? Highest court, first point. See, make a point like this. Highest court. Under this, it is the highest court. Okay, otherwise Supreme Court is the supreme or the highest being. Then, highest court deals with what? Revenue cases. Alright, second point you get. Then, they take appeals of lower revenue courts. Appeals of lower revenue courts. Alright. Then, revenue secretary is the head. I am writing it in short form, but you write full form. Okay. Revenue Secretary is the head. Then court functions under the supervision of the High Court. Alright, your answer is done. If they ask you, explain about the Revenue Board, or which is the highest court among the revenue courts. So you have your answers here. So all 4 points, all 5 points are laid down. So the Revenue Board is the highest court. It deals with the revenue cases. It takes appeal from the lower revenue courts. The Revenue Secretary is its head and it functions under the supervision of the High Court. Simple as it is. Okay. Now make your things here, Tahsildar Court, Officers Court upside down, okay? Because Commissioner's Court comes first. Tahsildar, we have told, is the lowest court, isn't it? That's the grades also that are being given. So write Commissioner's Court first. Alright. Under that, make points like this. Now, what can you write under Commissioner Court? It is taking appeal. I'll give you one example of this and then you can continue, okay? It takes appeals of whom? It takes appeals of judgments against the district magistrate courts, okay? District magistrate courts. So, who is the head? The divisional officer. The divisional officer is the head. Now second one you write. What is that? District Revenue Court or District Magistrate Court. Then make point here. What is that point? Point is, it is right in every district. So that means it's present in every district. Takes up judgments against whom? Okay. Commissioner's Court, alright. Commissioner's Court is written then. Okay, every district, alright, takes appeals against the Tahsildar Court or the District Subdivisional Officers Court. Then, third point, Deputy Commissioner is the judge. Then write the third one, District Subdivisional Officers Court. Assistant Commissioner, Judge of the Court. Appeals against whom? Tahsildar Court. Below, write Tahsildar Court. So, turn it upside down, it will be easy. If you go from the toppest, the superior power to the inferior one, then you can make it easy. Otherwise, you have to go like this. Alright, that's how you make notes. Now, I am telling you how far you are doing it, I leave it to you. So, I tell it because it will be easy for you. Okay, you can make it like this. In one page, if you finish, you have the, like if you have 2 pages, the entire lesson is there in 2 pages. So, concise it. Next is People's Court, also called as the Lok Adalat. Have you seen this TV show that was coming, some Adalat? Okay, what do they do there? They were also listening to people there and giving some kind of a conclusion for that matter. There was a TV show that was coming. Now it doesn't come, but earlier it used to come. I don't know if you have seen it, but it used to come. But just go to YouTube and see Lok Adalat or something like that. You will get a little bit of information for yourself. Alright. Now our legal procedure is in such a way that, see, if you file a case in the court, it's like this. In the Indian system, nothing is done very quick. If you file a case, you know the number of years it's going to take. You may not have personally done it. Maybe your parents have done it, or somebody in the neighborhood, or somebody of your relatives may have done it. I have seen it, and it's a personal experience. If you file any case in the court, it takes you so many years to get that decision. In the meantime, what you have to do? Struggle and struggle behind. Go whenever they call you. You'll have to wait for your advocate, wait for everything. Time and money and energy is all gone in vain. Nothing happens right at the moment, or at least within a month, nothing. So waiting and waiting is what takes us, our system only takes us like that. Everything is in the waiting, everything is waiting process. We are never fully done with something or accomplished nothing. You just observe yourself, or see, this is a reality that I am saying for you. You may encounter it in future, or you may see somebody doing it. In either ways, what I want you to do is observe. Observe what's happening with them. Observe how much of money and energy they are spending on one little case that they would like to, they know that will come in their favor. But why does it take so long? Don't we have people who are well learned? Don't we have people qualified? Don't we have functionings going right? Never know. We don't know. What's happening inside is, see, every profession, only they know what's happening inside them. The others, for them, it looks beautiful. Even for my profession for that matter, or our profession for that matter, everything looks beautiful, isn't it, outside? But the internal struggle is internal struggle. So every profession has its own difficulties. Even there, we don't know why it is delaying, we don't know why it's happening. But still, a change can be made. A change can be made, a change can be brought about, isn't it? Things can be taken out easily. Things can be done. So our legal system makes it very expensive for us, and it's a lot of time consuming. It takes a lot of time. Sometimes it goes up to 20 years. By then you will be dead or no, God knows. But it takes time, it takes process. If it was like this, if you file a case, or at least within a year, if you get some answer to it, whether it is in your favor or not in your favor, at least you will have some peace. But if it's going for 20 years and somewhere in between you yourself are not there, what's the use of fighting that case? Nothing. So we never know what's going to happen in the next moment, but we also have to get ready and always have plan B, yes. But in the meantime, the legal procedures also have to take it very soon and make people's lives better. Now, on the other hand, when all of these legal procedures are going very expensive and time consuming, the government has made plan B. That's what I told you, plan B is important. So government has made plan B. What is that plan B? They have set other institutions, legal institutions, other forms of legal institutions which can function faster and are less expensive for you. So that is the plan B of the government. If plan A is not working, always have plan B. So this is the plan B of having a Lok Adalat. One among them is Lok Adalat, which came into existence in 1985. Okay, 1985. Now, how do they take cases? It takes cases from two parties who mutually agree with each other. Now, if you and I are fighting, we sit together and we mutually agree, okay, this is what has to be done, this is your favor, this is in my favor, we settle it down, finish, over. Not fight and fight and fight and argue, or somebody else comes in and then you argue, no, not like that, okay. So this is how, this is one of the institutions which is set as an alternative for the legal procedures. Now, Lok Adalats are there in only few of the states, that's Gujarat, New Delhi, Karnataka, and a little more, not in all the states. Now, some judges who have worked in the Supreme Court, these social workers or young law graduates who are there, who have just finished their graduation in law, they become members of these courts who help in return to whatever people would like their favor for. Then cases may not have been disposed by other courts or high court, but they can be settled in the Lok Adalats. So it's not that, if that's too consuming, time consuming and expensive, this is another alternative where it takes a less of a time and there are experienced and learned people only to help you. It's not that anybody who has done something else of an education is taking up this and making a fuss about it. No, there are law graduates, people who have worked in the Supreme Court, some social workers who come together, like-minded people come together and learned in that profession help you make certain or change what is there or make your situation fine. I didn't get a word, so I had to reframe my sentence. It has 3 features. Okay? Basic is compromise. You and I compromise on something and say, okay, it's fine, no problem. We'll agree to that. You have to give me this much, I'll give you this much, finish. We'll finish it off. No more disturbance to anybody or no more hard feelings to anybody. Then it's fast and cheap. That is not less time consuming also and inexpensive. Then on the other hand, it also makes the work of the courts less. So it lessens the burden of the other courts that are there. These are, see, if there are simple cases and if we can compromise with each other and if we can mutually understand each other and finish it off. For example, divorce. If it is at its heights, okay, agreeable. But if it is a mild fight and if they have landed up in divorce, if there is mutual consent and mutual compromise, it can end there than going into a court and fighting for the case. Then you have to fight for the custody of the child and everything. If you have a child. If there is no child, it is easy, but if there is a child and the fight for the custody of the child if is a minor, then again is a problem. So a lot of things get involved if it is a divorce. If it can be a compromise, certain petty issues, if they can be a compromise, they can happen here in the Lok Adalats, and that will reduce the burden of the other courts that are functioning. Now they take cases up like vehicle accidents, okay, anybody wants to possess land, banking transactions that happen, marriage, okay, divorce, then any labor problems that are there, labor courts are also there. So everything has rules and regulations unless and until we know how to use them. Then courts are, these little courts that are there, they are established by the district law authority or the taluk law authority. So 2 mediators will be present when this kind of a case happens. Now the judgments given by the judges there in the Lok Adalat are final, they are binding. So on both the parties, any party can agree on it, but both the parties, if they have come to a compromise, if they come to a mutual understanding, then the judgment is final. And they cannot file any appeals cannot be filed against them. Okay, if they have given a judgment saying that, okay, this is what we do and this is the final judgment, their judgment is binding. You cannot file any appeal against them in any other court. Now, these judgments that are given also, they have the same equal responsibility and same status as what judgments have in the other courts. Alright. So that's how this is our lesson, judicial system. So Karnataka has 4 divisions because of the administrative purposes: Bengaluru, Mysore, Kalaburgi and Belgavi. So whichever is near is there where you take your stand on. Alright, read your lesson. This was very simple. I think the simplest, I can use a superlative degree for you, it's the simplest lesson. So make your notes. I am emphasizing on the fact from a very long time, make your notes is because of the future that is very unpredictable to you and to me as well. So none of us know what's there more in the store for us, we don't know. Alright, thank you very much for listening. I shall meet you in the next class.